Thank you so much. I realize that I am the only thing standing between you and finding out who the winners of the pitch contest are. So I'm going to try to keep this lively and a little bit on the short side, but I'm going to try and pack in a lot of information in a short amount of time. I'm so honored to be here at CoCreate and so honored to be speaking to you today. I think being an entrepreneur and a founder is the bravest thing a person can do. So a round of applause to all of you for everything you do every day. So as you just heard, I'm Stephanie Mehta. I am the CEO and Chief Content Officer of a company called Mansueto Ventures. We publish Fast Company and Inc. For more than 45 years, Inc. has been the world's leading editorial title, helping founders and independent business owners start, grow, and run their companies. Fast Company is known as a brand that helps company. I think I went a little bit too far. Sorry about that. So as I was saying, Inc. is a title that helps small businesses. Fast Company is a title that has been at the forefront of helping founders and executives really understand the power of innovation and helping brands innovate. And for any executive or founder who wants to understand how to innovate a business, the Fast Company, World's Most Innovative Companies, is a must-read for understanding the technologies and ideas that will change business and society. If you happen to be in New York later this month, Fast Company will bring its journalism to life at the Fast Company Innovation Festival, a week-long celebration of creativity and innovation in business and beyond. Now, before I became CEO, I spent 25 years as a business journalist, where I had an opportunity to interview some of the world's most successful executives and founders. Who needs an MBA when you get to learn from everyone from Mark Cuban to Tory Burch to Bill Gates to Sarah Blakely? I still interview CEOs and founders, and I share their wisdom in a weekly newsletter called Modern CEO. And I'm going to share a QR code if you want to take a picture of it. You can use that to subscribe, and I hope you'll give it a chance and share with me the founders and CEOs that you'd like to hear from in a future newsletter. So we're here to talk today about cult brands. It's a topic that we cover regularly at Fast Company and Inc. So what is a cult brand? A cult brand is something, a product or a service, that has a loyal customer following that borders on fanaticism. Have your customers tattooed your logo on their arms the way runners once inked the Nike swoosh on their shoulders? If so, then you're a cult brand. Do people line up to buy your shopping bags the way they did for Trader Joe's totes earlier this year? If so, you're probably a cult brand. Now, Nike and Trader Joe's notwithstanding, most cult brands today are founder or family-led. From Raising Cane's to Graza to Poppy to Telfar to Patagonia, some of the hottest brands are led or co-led by passionate, driven entrepreneurs. And that means every single person in this room has an opportunity to build America's next cult brand. Now, I've had the honor of talking to some of the founders and marketers behind some of the world's buzziest brands, and I'm going to share the secrets of their success. But first, I'm going to tell you what a cult brand is not. It isn't about unfettered scale, and a cult brand is not about the cult of the founder's personality. So if you're interested in moving a lot of units or just creating a personal brand, and by the way, there is nothing wrong with either of those things, but if that's what you're in business for, then you're probably not going to build a cult brand. A cult brand isn't about transactions or validation. It's about building something that ultimately endures. So cult brands have a few things in common. They make a high-quality product or deliver a high-quality service. They walk this fine line between accessibility and exclusivity, and they foster a sense of community among their clients. So I'm going to talk about all of these. Quality. It isn't a surprise to me that so many cult brands are founder-led. Entrepreneurs like you set out to solve real-world problems or build something better than what's already on shelves or on digital storefronts. Alison Ellsworth founded Poppy because she wanted a healthier alternative to traditional sodas. But her probiotic product, which, by the way, costs a lot more than typical sodas, achieved cult status because it tastes great. Graza caught people's attention because of its inventive and convenient squeeze bottles. That's the olive oil that comes in the squeeze bottles. But also a premium-priced product. That olive oil is beloved by foodies. And it's because it's made from really high-quality Spanish olives, and it's not blended with canola or other oils. Consumers are always willing to try something new, but to build repeat business and fandom, your product or service needs to offer fickle consumers a superior experience. Most cult brands are accessible and exclusive. A lot of them achieved success by going to consumers directly online as D2C companies, selling their wares to end consumers around the world. But what has made so many cult brands successful is that they've found a way to marry accessibility with the aura of exclusivity or specialness. A great example of this is Telfar, the New York-based fashion brand known for its Brooklyn Birkin handbags. Fast Company recently wrote about how founder Telfar Clemens and his business partners have innovated the way they price products using a dynamic pricing tool, and this is fascinating. So like many cult brands, Telfar will do a drop. It's meant to feel super insidery, but in fact, it's super accessible because anyone can subscribe to an email or follow social media, the Telfar brand. But here's the innovation. So every product that is dropped on the Telfar website is initially offered at its wholesale cost, meaning the fans who get there earliest, the most dedicated fans, can get a bag or a hoodie at a really, really bargain price. As the minutes tick by, the price goes up until they sell out of the product. And that price becomes the retail price at which they sell the product. It's brilliant because the company gets real-time data about what people are willing to pay, and the system both reinforces the accessibility of the product because, again, the earliest adopters can get it at a discount price. But then there's that exclusivity factor because you want to get it before it sells out. And exclusivity isn't limited to just luxury brands. Cult brand restaurants do this all the time with limited menus or secret menus. Chick-fil-A, which is the ultimate cult brand, it's actually closed on Sunday. Now, they do this for religious and family reasons, but limiting supply also gives this chicken chain a whiff of exclusiveness that has only helped its brand. Despite being open only 6 days a week, Chick-fil-A has the highest annual revenue per restaurant in the country by a wide margin. Finally, let's talk about community. We heard a lot about community from several of the companies that pitched today. At the heart of every cult brand is a community of dedicated fans. These aren't just customers. These are ambassadors for your products, services, and for your company. And the best cult brands don't take community for granted. They nurture community. Raising Cane's, which is the second highest earning restaurant group, goes all in on community. I talked to the company's co-CEO recently, and he described how each restaurant in its 950-store chain is decorated by a team that researches and acquires items specific to the town where that restaurant is located. That might mean local high school jerseys or the cover of a hometown musician's album. The result is a place that feels like a community center or a neighborhood joint. And it's a formula that has propelled this company to $5.1 billion in annual sales last year. Sunscreen maker Vacation, which landed at 152 on the Inc. 5000 list of the fastest growing private companies in America, cultivates fans through buzzy events and cool branding. They create community. But beneath this hipster vibe is a really old school commitment to customer service. Every message that the company receives in the in-mail inbox gets a response. We've been talking about the keys to building a cult brand, but the tenets of great cult brands are quality, walking the line of accessibility and exclusivity, and nurturing community. And those are all the characteristics of an enduring brand, one that is built to last. Built to Last is also the title of a book by former Fast Company and Inc. contributor Jim Collins. And I want to leave you with something that Jim told me that has stuck with me about founders, especially the founders of enduring brands. And he said, and I put the quote up here because it's so inspiring to me, he said, "I believe that business done right, meaning in the most aspirational way, is one of the most meaningful and noble things that you could do with a life." You think about what Walt Disney's life added up to. Or you think about Yvonne Chouinard saying, "I'm going to think of a company as a role model and as a tool for change in the world. And I'm going to prove it with our success and the quality of what we do." It's not about flipping and cashing out. This is a choice. And then you could get to the end of your life and say, wow, what a life well spent. Thank you so much to Alibaba and the entire team here at CoCreate, and thank you for your time today. Here's to a life well spent.